Okay. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. Been messing around with OBS and streaming tools and stuff, so hopefully this works as normal. We are playing some Super Metroid here, randomizer, of course, and I've been doing some Archipelago with some friends online, kind of mostly asynchronously, just because, like, well, we will log on, a few nights a week or whatever, at the same time, for like an hour and a half. But then, inevitably one of us gets BK'd, gets kind of stuck and has to wait on someone else. So that those people kind of just work on stuff when we're not all together online. And then they'll unlock something for someone, and they'll log on then on their own, and so on and so forth. And it just kind of all leads to being mostly asynchronous, which is okay. So we did one run where I picked Final Fantasy V, and I got most of the way through that, actually. That was the first time that they had ever done Archipelago. So after that, we started over again. And the first time, one of my friends picked Factorio, one of my friends picked Super Metroid. And they were both kind of just, like, abysmal. So I'm like, alright, I gotta try those next time. So then, the second run, I picked both Factorio and Super Metroid. And I've just been getting blocked, the whole way. It's been rough. But Super Metroid is easily my favorite game on Archipelago, and really one of my favorite games of all time, and I've just been kind of getting better and better at it, just because I keep playing it, and, looking up tricks, and the randomizer really kind of helps learn new tricks, just out of necessity. So I finally know how to do Mach Ball now, which is great. And just some other things that, if you're just a casual player of Super Metroid, or you played when you were a kid or something like that, you're just never going to know about this stuff. So, yeah, great game. So that's what's going on with that. But I mean, they're like an Archipelago, and it's pretty fun to play with a group of people on the regular. And just so many new games are being worked on for Archipelago to be added. Symphony of the Night seems like it's going to be somewhat in the near future, so that should be awesome. I'd love to learn Symphony of the Night like I've learned Super Metroid. But we'll see. We'll see. I'd love to see some more Fire Emblems, although Fire Emblem 8 kind of works just because it's the shortest and easiest one, and it does have, like, I don't know, it's got a lot of good systems that make it just kind of work for Archipelago, but there could be some other contenders. Yeah, I don't know what else I'd like to see. XCOM 2, maybe? Not like maybe the full game of XCOM 2 as like a full run of the campaign. Somehow truncated. That would be cool. But yeah, it's just great stuff. Anyways, this week on this channel, we have had more Fire Emblem. It's coming to a close this week. There'll be no more of this 3-part sort of series playthrough. But there will be more Fire Emblem in the future in some form. We've also had Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. You know, I don't know. I have to say, like, I'm not loving Rogue Trader at the moment. I think part of it, well, actually most of it is just kind of, I don't know, the combat? The builds? No. Fuck. I don't need it. It just doesn't excite me the way that Wrath of the Righteous excited me the first time I played it. No, I mean, I hate to abandon it, because I do think, like, the world building, like, the actual 40k aspects of it are pretty great, but that's not enough for me to stick around for a game for, you know, 60 hours or whatever. I don't know. Is this... No, this is like a map room or... No, I don't even remember. This... I know I never go in there. That's what I know. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm basically, you know, I'm at that point where I'm not... Yeah, I guess I'm not recording it for, like, fun. I'm recording it because every couple days or so, the time comes where I need to upload a video for it, so I record it. That's where it's at, which is usually not a great sign. When it becomes like a chore. I don't know. And honest, like the other day, I was like, oh, you know, I should just start up another like Archipelago run. Just because I know I enjoy that. Like that's never becomes a chore. I don't know. I don't know. You can't really force yourself to like a game, I suppose. It's just kind of disappointing, I suppose, that this Owlcat Games, maker of, you know, easily one of my favorite games of all time, and you know, they'd even reached out to me if I wanted to be sponsored for this game. It's Warhammer 40k, and yet it just doesn't grab me. On Two Brothers Play, we were playing Pal World. Last night we started playing Pal World for a while, but again, like, it just sort of was wearing on my soul while we were sitting there playing it. You know, I've played a decent amount of, like, survival games now. I wouldn't rank Pal World anywhere near, like, the bottom. For me, the worst survival game that I played... we played one... we played... I don't remember, No One Survived or something like that. There was like some kind of indie, like Chinese dev zombie survival game that was just kind of awful. That was probably the worst one. But the second worst one might have been Conan Exiles. I hated the combat in that game so much. I just could not stand it. Fuck. Oh, that's why I saved state. So, sometimes survival game clicks with me, sometimes it doesn't. It just kind of depends on the core gameplay loop. You know? Things like that. Ooh, very nice. Seven Days to Die is probably our favorite survival game, just because the core gameplay of going through buildings and going through, you know, points of interest, doing missions, and shooting zombies in the head. It's just so appealing. And it takes a long time to get old, but many hours into 7 Days to Die. I have no interest in the base building in any survival game whatsoever. So it's all about just, like, the combat. So, partway through Pal World last night, we just kind of... Well, I just kind of was like, fuck this. And we moved back to Factorio to continue our rampant playthrough. Do I have a favorite Metroid game? You prefer the Prime trilogy. Oh, you're looking at my favorite Metroid game by far. It's not really even a contest. Not to say it's the only Metroid game I like. I would say I like most of them. The original I wouldn't really ever play through. But I like Zero Mission. The second one I wouldn't really playthrough like on Game Boy again, but I liked A2MR, the fan-made remake. This is definitely my favorite. Played it many times through randomized and not. Fusion also I've played through several times, and once they add that to Archipelago, I'll probably play it a lot more. That one's pretty great. The Prime trilogy I played through once. I played each game once. They're good. I mean, they're good. And I would like to play through at least like the first Prime game again. And I'm looking forward to 4. But they're almost like different games to me than this. Like a different franchise, different genre. Other M was not really great. I don't think I'd ever play through it again. And then Dread was pretty great. Yeah, I like Dread. If 4 ever comes out. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm still optimistic that it will come out in some form. Whether or not it's good, I hope. We'll see. I mean, I'd prefer like a Dread 2 to a Metroid Prime 4, but that's just because I prefer the 2D ones. Silex is going to be the main villains. He's from Metroid Prime Hunters. I didn't play Metroid Prime Hunters. Gravity suit. Very nice indeed. Bot. What was I talking about? Right, so yeah, we moved back to Factorio, which is probably what we'll play on Wednesday, just because we both like it. But there has been talk of going back to Gloomhaven, maybe some other stuff, who knows. Bomb jumping is one thing I really need a lot more practice with. I can't even set it up that great. Oh, and I fucked it. Oh my god. Do I have a favorite Metroid boss? Oh boy. Oh god. honestly, I can only remember bosses from this game. I have a poor memory. I play a lot of video games, so yeah. Of this game, my favorite boss would probably be maybe Dragon. I don't know. I just love the fact you can just electrocute him to death. That never gets old. What the fuck? Abysmal. Oh my god. Should get much quicker kills than that. Oh yeah, I definitely don't understand all the continuity of the Metroid series. Extra scope, useless bullshit. We're on the Exploring series. I put out a combined video from Murphy Law and the Montauk Falcon. And then tomorrow will be the combined video for the Tachyon Express. And then next Monday, some sort of Lovecraft reading that I have not started. My break is definitely coming to a close. Let's go. Yeah. I guess. That's not what I want to do. But yeah, views for Exploring series are definitely down right now. Not doing too hot, but that's because I'm not uploading any new content. And somewhat in limbo about what I want to do this year. I don't know if I have enough health to do this. I'm not a speedrunner. Probably die, but that's why I saved. I don't know if speedrunners come up from the bottom somehow, but I definitely don't know how to do that. Oh, a new tank. Well, that helps. Oh yeah, I can do that. That's fine. missile. Fuck it. How they decided when making this game which areas to make require the Varia suit to avoid damage and which not. Like, why does this room not require the Varia suit, but the room right above it does? You know? I mean, I appreciate it. Other M had a lot of problems with continuity. Rumor has it the lead director hated the Prime series and tried to retcon it. Also hated the Ridley scene from that game. Well, Other M, I think you could have ended it with Other M had a lot of problems. Because, yeah, not too great. Weird that they would appoint the guy to run the game that hated the previous game. So, fuck. Speedrunner I am not. This is not a room that requires... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As far as how long I'm gonna continue doing 40K videos. The last one performed really abysmally. So it's definitely possible to speed boost through the system. So you have to do an aerial speed boost. Yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm not sure of the specific inputs. No. No. Some sort of combination here. No, it's, fuck! Stop it! Spin jump, and then... You have to stop the spin at the right height. Oh my god. Needed to like slow down the game or something. No, it's not that. Just jump over there. It was Sakamoto who was responsible for the way Other M was. He wanted the final say to everything. I mean, sometimes having like a clear direction like that works. Like Yoshi P with Final Fantasy XIV. He kind of runs the show and has... I don't know if he has final say on everything. I'm not quite sure, but he's always the name associated with practically everything. And he saved that game. But yeah, sometimes one person is not right about everything. So this week we also had our third solo RPG session stream, which went pretty well. First like hour of that is me just going over the setting that I've put together. But we got to some events. The spores are continuing to spread. The city is now in lockdown and quarantine. But I decided... Oh, that was pretty close. I decided that I needed a little bit more time to kind of think. I needed some money. So what we ended up doing was going off and finding a dungeon. Ah, so close. We'll get it. We went out into the forest. We met a giant frog who was very helpful to us, very friendly, and he led us straight to a great dungeon filled with awesome treasure. And so we decided that those Shine Spark puzzles suck. Well, that is not the intended way to reach that, obviously. So we had our first kind of random solo dungeon experience, which was... It started off a little rough. I think we hit a groove there, though, where it was exciting. Random things happened, and yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the experience. We decided that the frog was actually like a serial killer, essentially. This is good. This was a mistake. Oh god, I'm fucking it up good. This is... I'm gonna die. Yeah. Well, great! Validates a bunch of progress. Well, not a bunch, I guess, but... So yeah, we decided the frog was a serial killer that leads people in the forest to his dungeon, where he hopes all his traps and stuff will kill them, as they try and go for treasure. It did not kill our main character, but it did kill our porter, Patrick. He fell to his death down into a cave system. We did end up getting a treasure, though. We got a golden scepter, which we randomly rolled and decided contains a charm spell. We can use a couple times per day, which is quite valuable, quite powerful, being able to just charm people at will to do your bidding. But, you know, I think the charm spell is kind of illegal in our setting, because it seems kind of sketchy to just take away people's agency like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Would I say they improved the space jump controls after Zero mission? I don't know. It's always different. I feel like space jump, every time I go to a different game and try, it seems like a different experience. So I'm most used to Super Metroid. So, I guess I'd have to say no. Although, I don't know. Again, my memory of any game other than this one is a little hazy. Oh my god. Alright, well, first let's get this. So we got the, we got the scepter, but then as we headed out of the dungeon, we ran into the giant frog, who was upset that we didn't die to his traps. And we had to fight him. And really, I should have made him way more powerful. I literally just ran him as the giant frog in the rulebook. But if this guy was like some wizard serial killer with a dungeon full of traps and treasure and stuff, he probably should have cast some sort of magic spells or something. Whatever. But during the fight, my new sellsword, Quinn, died. He fought very valiantly, but he died. And, but I got a bunch of money. I gave some to Patrick's family, pay for his funeral costs. You know, no body or anything like that, but still, it was something I felt I had to do. Think. Yeah, okay, we'll go this way. Just not that other way. So yeah, I mean, we ended up with about 700 or so in cash money, and then the scepter, which I temporarily have valued at 5,000 silver. But it is an illegal object. I wouldn't be able to sell this at any given store or something. It'll have to go on the black market if I want to sell it. So we'll see. But if I do sell that, we'll have enough money to fund some sort of expedition to stop the spores and get this gem that's causing it. Now, an enterprising man may take that magic gem that's causing fungal growth and drop it on your enemies. Perhaps. Or or try and sell it on a black market for something like that. But I don't know if Garland's going to be that type of guy. Now, I feel like this jump or something like it is probably possible, right? I don't know, it seems so like a steep angle that I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. There is 3 checks in there, so it is kind of nice if I could do it unupgraded. But there's also this one, which I feel similarly about. That's not as essential, though. We can get around there at any case. You hope they put Zero Mission and Return of Samus on Switch? Yeah, I didn't play Return of Samus, because I felt like A2MR kind of covered me. And I don't really like 2.5 dimension look. But yeah, I mean, Zero Mission is good, but of course I would just emulate that. You can tell I'm very used to not having bombs. Just using power bombs for everything. But, you know, then at the end of the session, I decided to level myself up to level 2. So, that's good. Some nice health, defense bumps, things like that. And also, we're gonna multi-class over to Warlock, so we get access to another domain of magic, which is currently undecided. I'm waiting until I think of a plan to deal with the spores, but I don't want to pick a school of magic entirely based on this one problem to solve. So it has to have legs, you know. Yes, yes. I'm aware there's a lot of damage here. Oh god, fuck you. I'm not gonna make it. Oh, no, because this is, yeah, this is all, fuck. But that's why it would be good to be able to scale Bubble Mountain unupgraded. I guess there's always bomb jumps if I just was a madman. Like, if you just bomb jump from here, you probably can do it. I knew it was gonna fuck me up. Why didn't I clear them before starting that? It's ridiculous. Is that the only one? I think so. Great. Come on. Oof, It's just kind of stressful. Not how I like to do business. Fuck. Oh my god. Now my fingers are all fucked up. Ooh, ice beam. Pretty good, though. If I can now make it out of this room. It's gonna be tight. Oh. Ooh, okay, good. Now with ice beam, we can pretty easily get over to the other side. So that's the solo RPG going pretty well. As for my family RPG session, yeah, I mean, they're just kind of... Oh, God. I'm scratching my nose. I'm a dead man. Yep. They're just kind of bumbling around the forest and stuff. They were in the dungeon when we started. And they sort of ended up making a beeline for the end of the dungeon, which is the holy sword that they went in there to get. So they kind of went straight for it. Part of the problem was that, you know, I'm running this kind of old school Renaissance dungeon design, which I don't think is great. You know, they come across this statue in front of a big stone door, and as they approach the statue, you know, they hear a voice in their head that says, "What makes a knight?" And the only way you're going to answer this correctly is if you, at the start of the dungeon, turned left instead of right. They had turned right at the start of the dungeon, which led them to go downstairs, which led them straight to this. So they had never gone left. That was the only way you're going to get this right. And if you answer anything but the 4 correct words, the statue animates and starts attacking them. And it's not going to stop unless maybe they flee. So they just kind of have to sit there and fight this thing. And initially they're fighting this thing and they're trying to come up with all these other, like, solutions instead of just clobbering it. You know, they're trying to, like, throw a tarp over it and wrap rope around it and try and drag it to the ground. It's just like, you know, beating the shit out of them while they try and do this. And it's like, you know, sometimes it is best to just swing your sword. They figured, like, oh, it's a stone statue. How could they possibly harm it with a sword? And I think some RPGs are kind of that anal about stuff. Or would give it resistance, maybe. But I honestly, I just had to tell them, like, you know, you can just probably hit it with your sword. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know about that. Hey, Luigi. What's the right position for this? Not there. Fuck. You son of a bitch. Oh my god. Oh my god. Damn these things. I mean, this is like 2 checks, basically. I should fuck off. I shouldn't even bother with this. The odds of this being essential are very slim. It's just miserable, man. And anyways, this is Hanging with Mangg, not Mangg plays Super Metroid Randomizer poorly. Nope, no. Am I concerned about the live-action Legend of Zelda? Am I concerned? No, I mean, I wouldn't say there's any amount of concern in my body about any movie that ever exists or doesn't exist. I wouldn't say that's a choice of words I would use. Do I think it'll be good? No. No, probably not. I'm not really a Zelda fan. And also, I think it'll probably have like the most generic sort of Zelda story ever designed by any Zelda person. So, I don't... It's not a concern of mine. This is not helping freezing it there. This must be possible without ice cream. I really have to look this up. You almost broke your leg. Well, that's good. You didn't, I suppose? God damn. I hate these things. I hate them so much. And then it disappears. I want to finish my discussion. That's all I want to do. Stop it. Done. All right, I'm just going to get these 2 checks, and then we're not going to play anymore. Fuck. Now I gotta farm again. They ended up defeating the statue, and then they went into some other room where there were more statues and a ghost, and they had to fight the ghost because it was just immediately hostile and, you know, wants to kill them, and the statues don't really have anything on them, and blah, 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 and they get the big stone door open because they pick the lock. And inside they find all the treasure, and they're quite pleased with themselves, quite happy. They rummage around the room a little bit more, or around the dungeon a little bit more, but they're pretty banged up at this point. So they extricate themselves, and now finally they go left at the start of the dungeon just to check it out. And really, the only thing over there is the solution to that statue night puzzle, which they, you know, immediately understand as being the solution to that puzzle, which is now useless to them because they destroyed the statue. I've been streaming Metroid for an hour. Pretty close, yeah. Why is that surprising? And then they start to head back to town to rest their wounds, and they bump into two like local farmers that are trying to catch the local dragon with a dead pig and a net, leading to a pretty humorous conversation with the group as they tried to, you know, they're like, you can't catch a dragon with a net, a dead pig and a net, to which the farmer responded, have you ever seen it not happen? I mean, I did a very, like, redneck hick sort of, you ever seen it not happen? It was funny. It was a fun conversation. And of course, had they actually stopped these farmers and convinced them, they would have saved their lives. So now they're definitely going off to die. So that's great. So they head back to town, they rest up and all that, and then they try and, like, capture this fairy that's apparently been troubling the blacksmith. And they, oh god, I mean, they just deliberate for so long about just this minor thing. And that's mostly what annoys me as a DM. Just me personally. Just because I know that when we played, when I played with our normal group, there wasn't a whole lot of deliberation. We went on tangents, you know, we went on just like stupid tangential conversations about like how do centaurs have sex and like things like that. Or, you know, we had a rabbit, I think, that could that grew whenever it ate money, and we had just like an hour conversation about all the tests that we were gonna run with it and try and scientifically figure out how it functioned. But like actual planning for an action that we're gonna do, that never took long, just because I don't take long to think, and you know, generally I just told the group what we're gonna do, and it worked out. This has to be possible. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they, eventually set about this plan where they were just gonna, like, wait in the bushes outside at night, outside of the smithy where this fairy has supposedly showed up every night. And they're just like, yeah, we're gonna just, like, sleep in the bushes. And I'm like, have you ever seen a bush in your life? This sounds horrible. And then my sister, she doesn't want to go with to, like, kidnap this fairy. So she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go in front of the inn that we're at and just start playing my flute as, like, a distraction. And I'm like, it's 1 a.m. You know, the owner of the tavern comes out in his pajamas and is like, you know, is everything okay? There's people sleeping here. So, they eventually, like, surround, they pour a bunch of tar outside of underneath the windowsill where this fairy supposedly leaves stuff, and they leave, like, a jeweled chalice there as, like, a temptation for it, that it's gonna be like, oh, jeweled chalice, I gotta look at this. Well, it gets stuck in the tar and they ambush it. So they eventually surround it, and it's revealed to just be, like, the local alchemist that has a crush on the smithy and leaves him things. They really just didn't handle it too well. Because, you know, it makes a point to say that she's leaving, like, these strange talismans. And the smithy said that this fairy is leaving him strange talismans. And they thought that that was like the rabbit's foots and like horseshoes that he has all around his place. Even though he said that that's all his stuff because he's, you know, needs all the luck he can get. And the strange talismans she's leaving him are actually just love letters that he thinks are talismans because he can't read. Which seems a little far-fetched, to be honest. I'm sure he's seen English lettering before. Or, you know, what lettering. So they give her the jeweled chalice, I think. They just give it to her for no reason. Like, they have no concept of money. It's insane. The jeweled chalice was worth 600 coins. Which is a sizable amount. It's one of the most valuable things they've gotten so far. And they're just like, yeah, you can have that. I don't know why. I don't, like, they seem to be, like, money motivated. But then, like, they go into, like, the general store. My sister will go into the general store, and she wanted to buy, like, a satchel. And the thing with this general store that says in the adventure is that the owner never says a price for anything. He just asks people what they're willing to pay for stuff and then, like, haggles. So my sister grabbed a leather satchel, and she's like, oh, I'll pay 50 coins. And he's just like, holy shit. Because, you know, that satchel was worth, like, 15, maybe. Then she comes in later, and she wants to buy, like, some orange paint for some reason. Oh, because, yeah, there was a golden fox, and she wanted to, like, try and charm it or something. I don't know. She paid 30 coins for just a little jar of orange paint, which was worth, like, 2. So now, you know, he regards her as his favorite customer. And then they went into the other tavern in town, which is, like, the other tavern in town, which is a really shitty one that nobody goes to. It's like a tourist trap. And my mom walks in and she's like, I'm gonna buy a round for our whole party. And he's like, oh, excellent. That'll be 70 coin. So that's what he charges for his, like, watered down piss beer. Because he's a piece of shit. And she's like, oh, I only have 40. And he's like, well, 40 will be fine. That's what you got. So she paid 40 coin for just watered down beer. Tastes like piss. And they all drank it, and they were just, like, reviled, and they just left. And she was out 40 of her coin. It's ridiculous. They just have no concept. And I don't know how to, like, I keep ripping them off, essentially. I don't know how to instill this. And they get ripped off, and they give away, like, valuable treasure for no reason. They were traveling in the dungeon with a group of goblins for a short little bit. And there were a bunch of, like, golden candlesticks on a shelf. And they just let the goblins have them. They were like 6 or 7 of them, each worth 50 coin. It's just insane to me. I mean, it's fine if a group of D&D characters or players are not money motivated, but I don't know what their motivation is. I don't know. Anyways. Then they went off to see the witch finally, and the witch turned out to be, you know, just kind of rude and old, but not really evil or anything like that. And they did some trading with her to get, I think, a poultice of healing that they have to rub on themselves, as well as a scroll to make the giant, like, smaller for a short while. I don't think it'll make him human size, but it'll definitely shrink him a bit. And then they also got some information from her about the local fawns that have this tree sap that tastes like wine, but can knock pretty much anybody out. like just a major sleeping draft, you know. And she's like, okay, you know, the fawns might be willing to trade some of this sap, this wine to you. They trade in like sentimental things. You know, anything that's sentimental to someone. That's what they like. So they go over to where the fawns supposedly are, and I'm like, all right, you start to see these trees that are covered in this kind of reddish sap that look different. So, you know, informing them, giving them a clue that these are the trees with the sap. And then nearby, you hear, like, music playing and some laughter and stuff. So, probably the fawns nearby. And they start kind of, like, arguing amongst one another about what to do. And my nephew just, like, leans over to me and says, I start taking my saw and I cut into one of the trees. And I mean, I feel like it's not my job as a DM to, like, question anything. Or to, like, announce to the group an individual player's actions. If he didn't want anyone knowing, then that's on him. You know, it's the same thing as if he slipped me a piece of paper or something. That's kind of private information. So I announced that he starts cutting into it, because that would have been visible. But it's not my job to say, like, hey, you know, he's about to cut into it. Does anyone want to stop him? Like, no, that's not what you do. So, yeah, he starts cutting into it, and immediately the music stops playing, and they start hearing, like, hooved footsteps coming their way. And they're like, oh my god, you know, they're just upset. So obviously the fawns are not happy that these trespassers have just come here and started cutting into their trees, which is not even a good way to get sap. Jesus. That's not how you get sap. You don't cut the tree down. It's ridiculous. So it's literally just like, as far as they're concerned, this guy just came here just to piss them off. So they're not happy. But I threw them a bone, and I figured, okay, they still might be willing to trade if they provide, you know, some good sentimental stuff. So, you know, instead of, like, finding stuff that's sentimental to other people, the players are just like, oh, I have this thing that my great-grandfather used to own, and it means a lot to me, but I'm willing to just give it away immediately, right now, for some weird wine. It's like, no, I mean, I can't say, like, no, that's not what your character would do, but it's like, come on, people. Like, do they have any concept of sentimentality? This shouldn't be, like, an easy thing for you to part with. Otherwise, why do you still have it on you? You're carrying it with you. Also, I guarantee, you know, they just bought it at, like, the general store or something, you know? Like, it wasn't in their backstory or anything. So my nephew, his character offered up, like, his old Bible or something that he has. And I think that it was mentioned in his backstory, I believe? Maybe? So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll accept it. Then my sister offers up, like, her horn. Her hunting horn. And she's like, yeah, my great-grandfather owned this. And it's like, I know that's not in your backstory. So I just asked her if she was, like, being truthful about it, that it was a very sentimental thing. And she wasn't. And I figured the fawns somehow, you know, the fawns are magical creatures. They probably can sort of sense some sort of sentimentality about it. Otherwise, why would they really want it? They must get some pleasure out of this inherent, like, sentimental magic associated with it. So they sensed that this horn was just, like, bought at Walmart a day ago. Or whatever, you know. Like, it doesn't really have any history. And so they just, like, smash it. And then I'm like, alright, that's the final straw. You cut into their tree. You try and just rip them off with this bullshit horn. Combat is just gonna have to happen here, unless, you know, they really started just groveling, which they didn't. So we got into a fight. Fawn's pretty tough. I mean, there's like 6 or 7 of them players, and there were 3 Fawns, but they were pretty tough. And so unfortunately, my mom's character did end up dying during the fight, but she wasn't too broken up about it, I guess. And that's kind of where we ended. You know, they got their wine sap stuff. They have the sword. Really, they have everything they need to kill the dragon, if that's what they're gonna do. So the next session might be the last one there. I don't know. And then I've just kind of been debating about what to do after this adventure for them. And honestly, I might just, like, improvise everything. You know, I might just run an improv campaign for wherever they want to go, at least for a little bit. Just because I think they prefer, like, social encounters and, like, random adventure rather than dungeons or big plots or stuff like that. And if anything, my solo RPG stuff has given me plenty of experience now of just improvising random adventures. So yeah, we'll see. Alright, I think that's long enough for this. So, Tachyon Express, all 3 parts tomorrow combined. We've got the final videos from my Fire Emblem series playthrough this week. Probably a little bit more Rogue Trader, although I don't know, man. I really don't know about that. After that, I don't know, I might start uploading the Gloomhaven Crimson Scales playthrough on Tabletop Simulator, which probably will only appeal to a small amount of people. But otherwise, I don't know, maybe more Archipelago stuff is always good. And we will have more Two Brothers Play and another solo RPG stream. Hopefully we can get some more people to tune in. You know, you come in there, you tune in, you start commenting, you can help shape the nature of this campaign. I take suggestions. Durden's been in there. He's been suggesting stuff. It's been a lot of fun. But that'll do it. Alright, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.